Kcse Predictor Paper 2, 2020-2021. Question number 1. Use logarithm table to evaluate 4.28 times 0.01677 out of a tan of 20, power of 1 over 5. When we talk about power of 1 over 5, it's the same as the fifth root of these numbers. So what you do when you ask you to use logarithms, I know some of you think that you can use the calculator and do the same question and get the same answer. I want to tell you that sometimes due to rounding off in the calculator, there are some answers that differ. So it's good to follow instructions and use exactly the table as you have been instructed. So what you do, you write the number standard form, logarithm. I usually add another log. That is so that this manipulation I do in this side, and this one I take the other side, so that the manipulation, whatever I got here, I take here. Then I'm able to manipulate these two on this other side. Yeah. So what you do, you write this 4.28 standard form. It will be 4.28 times 10 power 0, and 0.01667, it will be 1.667 times 10 power negative 2, because you move two steps to the right. So it is power negative 2. Now, this power negative 2, the logarithm must start with the power 2. This is called power 2 point. And the logarithm must start with the 0 point. You read 4.28 from the table, you get 0.6314. You read 1.6 on 6, then you add on the additional part column of 7. You add, you will get 0.2245. So that because it is multiplication, we add the 2, we shall get power 2.8559. Then we also go to logarithm of tangents. We use logarithm of tangents. We read tan 20, we get per 1.5611. Somebody can again find the tan of this, so that you write that number here and find the logarithm of this. That is another way of doing it. But it's better you go direct to the logarithm of tangents and read tan of 20 on logarithm of tangent depot, so that you get this direct. And then after getting that value, you subtract, because this is a division, you subtract whatever you got here, you subtract, you get power 1.2948. Now times the whole thing 1 over 5. So when we times 1 over 5, we think this negative 1, we make this negative, it will be negative 5. You think a number that you can add to negative 5 to get negative 1. If I add 4 to negative 5, I'll get negative 1. And therefore I'll have it as negative 5 over 5 plus 4.2948 over 5. So this one you get a negative 1, and this one you get 0.8596896. So that if the character side, it will be power 1, because you add 0, it will be power 1.85966. Now it is 4 figures, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We change this to be 10. 0 carry 1, it will be 90. So it will be 0.8590. 0.8590. This is what we find the antilogarithm, and the antilogarithm will be times 10 power of negative 1. So that you read antilogarithm of 0.8590, which you find at 7.228 times 10 power negative 1. Power negative 1, you move backwards one step, it would be 0.7228, and that is the answer. Number 2, simplify log 16 plus log of 81 all over log 8 plus log of 27. What you do in this case, we write this into base of 2, and this has a base of 3, this base of 3, base of 2. So it shall be log 2 power 4 plus log 3 power 4 all over log 2 power 3 plus log 3 power 3. Then we continue. We'll be able to here you take 4 using laws of logarithms for this other side, so it will be 4 log 2 plus 4 log 3 all over 3. If we take this 3 this other side, 3 log 2 plus 3 log 3. Now we factor out on the numerator and the denominator. We shall have 4 as the common factor on the numerator, so it will be 4 log 2 plus log 3 all over 3 log 2 plus log 3. This is common, so we cancel. We shall remain with 4 all over 3 as the answer. Now we go to question number 3. Expand and simplify the expression 10 plus 2 over x power of 5. What you do in this case, first of all, you need to find the coefficients from the table. The coefficients of power of 5, it will be 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. And then what you do after finding the coefficients, we need to find now the coefficient we multiply here. It will be 10 power of 5 times 1, then times 2 over x power of 0. So anything power of 0 is 1. So we shall have 10 power of 5, you find 100,000. You multiply 5 times 10 power of 4. Remember, for this one, the powers reduces. It starts from 5, reduces, and this other side, the power starts from 0 and increases. So we shall have 10 power of 4 times 5 times 2 over x power 1 plus 10 times 10 power of 3 times 2 over x squared, plus you continue with the same. So you shall find 100,000 plus 100,000 plus 100,000 over x plus 40,000 over x squared plus 8,000 over x cubed plus 800 over x power of 4 plus 32 over x power 5 when we simplify that. Now, if you are asked that to use the expression above to find the value of 14 power of 5, what you do in this case, you equalize 10 plus 2 over x power of 5 to 14 power of 5. If we equalize, the power 5 cancels, so we shall have 10 plus 2 over x equals to 14. We take then the other side, we shall remain with 2 over x equals to 14 minus 10, which is 4. So we shall have 2 over x equals to 4. We multiply by x all through, we shall remain with 4x equals to 2. 4x equals to 2. 4x will be equal to 2. So 4x equals to 2 divided by 4, x equals to half, or 0.5. So if we have x as 0.5 or a half, so we shall come, meaning that 14 power 5 will be equal to, we substitute whenever we have an x in this expression, so it will be 100,000 plus 100,000 all over 0.5 plus 40,000 all over 0.5 squared plus 8,000 all over 0.5 cubed plus 800 all over 0.5 power 4 plus 32 all over 0.5 power of 5. That is what you find there, so that if you use your calculator, you'll find these values. Then you add all of them, you find the answer to be 537,824. Number 4. The sides of a triangle were measured and recorded as 8.4, 10.5, and 15.3. You calculate the percentage error in perimeter, correct to 2 decimal places. Correct to 2 decimal places. Now what you do, you first of all need to know the least unit of measurement. In this case, the least unit of measurement is 0.1. 0.1, so we shall have 0.1. So 0.1, we can find the absolute error in the measurement. In the measurement, absolute error is 0.1 divided by 2, which is 0.05. So the limits we come and get for 8.4, it will be 8.4 minus 0.05 and 8.4 plus 0.05, and that is what you do for all of them. So you'll find the limits to be 8.35 and 8.45, that's the maximum, and the other one is 10.45 minimum and 10.55 maximum. 15.25 minimum and 15.35 maximum. So for us to get the maximum perimeter, we add this, and the minimum perimeter we add this, the actual perimeter we add this, and that is you get maximum to be 34.35, minimum to be 34.05, and the actual to be 34.2. Now to get the absolute error, it is maximum minus minimum all over 2. So the maximum is 34.35 minus the minimum, which is 34.05. We divide by 2, we get 0.3 over 2, which is 0.15. 0.15. Then after getting 0.15 as your absolute error, so to get the relative error, it's absolute error all over actual. Then percentage error is absolute error. This is absolute error. Absolute error, it is relative error, it is absolute error all over actual, you get relative error. And to get the percentage error is relative error times 100. So this relative error times 100, which gives you 0.438596491. It's better to write everything that you find in your calculator, so that after writing all that you find in your calculator, then you can go to the instruction and read correct to 2 decimal places. So from there you change into 2 decimal places, which is 1, 2. You find here there is an 8. 8 will change this 3 to be 4. So therefore the percentage error is 0.44%, corrected to 2 decimal places. And ensure that you write out the decimal places you are given, unless it is too big. If it is too big, you can write at least to 4 decimal places if you are not instructed. But do not round off like you usually do into 2, into 1. Do not round off, just write the decimals as they are. Question number 5, you simplify and leave the answer in such form: -9 over root of 13 plus root of 3 minus root of 3 minus root of 13. I know most people understand that the denominator we find the LCM, and then the denominator we use difference of 2 squares. But when you look at this question, this is root of 13 and root of 3, and then the vice versa. It is root 3 minus root 13. It is not similar, so that we use the difference of 2 squares. And therefore, if you have to expand. If you find the LCM, you have to expand the whole thing. If you decide to rationalize each part, you find the conjugate of this on this other side and conjugate of the denominator on the other side, then you subtract. So I can decide to rationalize each part, say that it would be -9 into root of 13 minus root 3 over root of 13 plus root 3 into root 13 minus root 3. Conjugate of root 13 plus root 3, it is root 13 minus root 3. You do the same on this other side, it would be 5 into root of 3 plus root of 3 plus root of 13 over root of 3 minus root 13 into brackets root 3 plus root 13. So you expand this and expand this, you finally get to be this one to be root of 9, because this is difference of 2 squares, so it will be now 13. Root of 13 squared is 13, and root of 3 squared is 3, so it is 13 minus 3, which gives you 10, and this is 3 minus, it will be 3 minus 13, which is -10. So we shall have it, there is a minus here, so we minus. Now what we do when you minus, it is minus minus. Remember to have that bracket, so that because this is negative, we change all these things. So we shall have the common denominator. So we shall have negative. Finally, if you simplify, you get -4 root of 13 plus 14 root of 3 over 10. Yes, and then we continue with question number 6. John buys and sells river in packets. He mixes 30 packets of river A costing 400 shillings per packet with 50 packets of another kind of river B costing 350 shillings per packet. If he sells the mixture again of at a gain of 20%, at what price does he sell a packet? I mean. So you realize that this guy, after selling, he still makes a profit of 20%. Now, what to do? You need to find the buying price. Buying price was 30 packets plus 30 packets at 400. So it's 30 times 400 plus 50 times 350. You get the buying price to be 29,500. Then the selling price, remember, it is. We have been told that after selling the mixture, if he sells the mixture at a gain of 20%, so selling price is 1/20 of 100 times 29,500, which gives you 35,400. That is what he sold, and therefore, selling price per packet, it is now 35,400 divided by the total number were 50 plus 30, which is 80, which gives you 442.50 shillings. Question number 7. 2 points, P, -3 and -4, Q, 2, 5 are points on a circle. Such that PQ is the diameter of the circle, and find the equation of the circle in this form where A and BC are in constants. Now what you do, remember we have P and Q here, we have the coordinates. You need to find the radius and the center of the circle. Center of the circle, we find the midpoints. Midpoints will give you the center of the circle to be -1/2 and 1/2. -1/2 and 1/2. And then that is the center of a circle. And then we find the modulus of the radius. Modulus of the radius. We can use modulus of the radius. We have 2, 5. We can use this other side so that we get the whole thing. We divide by 2. So the modulus becomes 10 point, that is 5. If we subtract this and the other one, we get 5, 9. So modulus of PQ, it is root of 106, which gives you 10.2956 units. And therefore, the radius we divide by 2, which gives you 5.1478 units. And we know the midpoint, which is the center. And therefore the equation, remember the equation of a circle, it is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to r squared. So it will be x minus, because for our x is -1. So it's minus 1/2, which gives you plus 1/2. X plus 1/2 squared plus y minus 1/2 squared, which gives you 5.1478 squared, because our r is 5.14 squared. Now we expand this and this one, you will find it at x squared plus x plus 1/4 plus y squared, then minus y plus 1/4, which is equal to 5 point, that is when you square this, you get 26.499. Now we multiply times 1/4 times 4 through, you'll find that x squared plus y squared, then plus x minus y minus 26 equals to 0. When you multiply by 4 or through. So this is the equation of the circle in the form that we are given. We continue with question number 8. Question number 8 is that we determine the inverse of the matrix D. Hence we solve this equation. Now what we do, we know that this is the inverse of we find the inverse of this matrix. The inverse, we first of all find the determinant, which is 4 times -2 minus 6 times 6. So it is -8 minus 36, which is -44. So to get the inverse, it is 1 out of a determinant into, we interchange this to be -2 here, and 4 comes here, and then this we change we negate these ones, so this becomes negative and negative. We negate this, so it shall be -2, 6 and 6. That is -2, 6, and then we negate this, becomes -6, -6. So what we do, we find it will be -6, -6, so that we find now this negative, it will change to positive, and this is positive, and this will change to positive. This is the only one will be negative. So this is supposed to be negative here and negative here, so that we multiply and simplify, we find it to be this one as the inverse. So if this is the inverse, but the equation here, if you rearrange this in matrix form, it is 3, 2, 3, 3, -1, and 30, 10. But you realize whatever we are given as the matrix is different from what we are getting here. But there is a factor. The factor is 2. 2 has been multiplied here to get this matrix. So what we do, we use the same matrix, but we divide with times 2. If we times 2 here, we shall get 4, 6, 6 -2 xy, and then we also multiply this by 2, gives 10, 60, 10. We shall get 60, 20, not 60, 10. It should be 60, 20, 60, 20, not 60, 10. It is 60, 20. So if we use now this one, the inverse, times that matrix times xy gives you the inverse times the matrix, which is 60, 20. Remember, the inverse of a matrix times the same matrix gives you an identity matrix, which is 1, 0, 0, 1, and the xy gives you multiply this, you find 60 over 11 and 70 over 11. So meaning that x is 60 over 11, which is the same as 5 and 5 over 11, and y is 70 over 11, which is the same as 6 and 4 over 11, or in decimal points it is 5.45 and 6.35. So that is how we solve. The trick here was that to realize that this matrix is not the same matrix as the one formed by the equation, but there is a common multiple, which is 2. That was the only trick in that question. Question number 9. An airplane leaves point A 60 degrees south, 10 degrees west, and travels due east for a distance of 960 nautical miles to a point B. Determine the position of B and the time difference between point A and B. Between point A and B. And what we do, if this is your circle, this is your group, then 10 degrees, we start with 60 degrees south can be here, if you sketch, and 10 degrees west can be here. And this person was moving towards the east. Towards the east. He moved towards the east, not the west. It was east, this side. So what you do, you write the angle between the longitude difference to be theta. If we let the longitude difference to be theta, so that means 960 nautical miles equals to theta times 60 cos of 60, cos of this latitude 60. So cos of latitude 60. So what you do, you find theta as 960 divided by 60 times cos of 60 gives you 30. So divided by 30, you get theta as 32 degrees. And therefore meaning, how did we get the theta? Remember, it is more, so that means it was added. So it is theta equals to 10 degrees plus x. So x is 32 minus 10, which gives you 22 degrees. Meaning the position B, it is 60 degrees south and 22 degrees to the east, because it has moved more than the other side of the Greenwich meridian. So that's the position of B. Question number 10 is that the cost C of hiring a venue for delegate conference is partly fixed and partly varies inversely as the number n of delegates. When 200 delegates attend, the cost is 4,500 per delegate, while for 150 delegate the cost is 5,500 per delegate. Calculate the fixed cost. So we are told that C, that is C, is partly constant. That is partly constant equals to that is far as k plus we make another constant m over n, because it's inversely and the inverse as the number n, as the number n. So if we introduce constants, it is k plus m over n. C equals to k plus m over n. So we are told that when 200 delegates attend, the cost is 4,500 per delegate. So meaning that 4,500 times 20 times 200, I mean, because we have 200, the cost is 4,500 per delegate times 200, because there are 200 of them who attend, which would be equal to k, that is constant, plus constant m all over 150, because we are told that all over 200, not 150, all over 200 first, then the next is 5,500 times 150, because they are attending 150 of them, will be equal to k plus m over 150. So if we multiply by 150 all through and by 200 all through, we form two equations. These are the two equations, so that we solve them and find the value of k as 1,500. So k, remember, k was our constant, our fixed cost. Our fixed cost was 1,500, and that is what we are asked. We have not been asked to find even the other cost, but you can find the other cost m to be 600,000. But what we are asked is this fixed cost, which is 1,500. Question number 11. given that BC is a tangent, B to C is a tangent to the circle, and line ADC, line of ADC, is straight line, and the angle ABC equals to 110. Angle ABC is 110. All this angle is 110, and the angle CBD is 50. Angle CBD is 50. So that means if you have this 50, you can easily find this because we've been told is 110. So 110 minus 50 gives you angle ABD as 60 degrees. Then you calculate the angle AED. We have been asked to calculate the angle AED. This is a cyclic quadrilateral. We know that opposite angle of cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. Therefore, this angle is 180 minus this 60, which gives you 120, because they are opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So that's angle AED. Then angle BAD. This angle is 50 because they are on opposite. That is angle of alternate segment. We call them angles of alternate segment. So this is 50 degrees because this is 50 angles of alternate segment. So this is 50 degrees angle DBC. Question number 12. Solve the equation. We solve the equation 2 cos squared x minus sin x equals to 1 from range of negative 180 degrees to 180 degrees as the value of x. Now what we do, we understand that an identity cos squared theta plus sin squared theta equals to 1. Now from there we can easily say that cos squared x equals to 1 minus sin squared x. So if we understand that, then we are dealing with x and not theta. Then that means that 2 into 1 minus sin squared x, we substitute wherever we have a cos, we substitute with 1 minus sin squared x. So we shall have 2 into 1 minus sin squared x minus sin of x minus 1 equals to 0. Minus 1 equals to 0. So we shall have this is x and not theta. So we shall have a what? We shall have a quadratic equation. If you realize this is a quadratic equation, such that if you let this sign of x to be a letter like m or whichever letter, it means that we shall have 2 minus, remember 2 minus, if you open the bracket, it becomes now 2 sign or whatever. We shall have 2 minus 1 is 1. So we shall have a 1 here. This is negative 2. And negative 2 will change this to be positive, and this one to be positive 2. Because it was here minus, so it would be positive. Already it became positive 1. So it changes, the negative changes to be negative now. Changes it to be negative, and now it becomes the positive here. So we shall have 2 sin squared x plus sin of x minus 1 equals to 0. So we can use the quadratic formula method or factorization method to find the value of x. So the value of x, you will find it to be 1. You find it to be 1, and therefore meaning that that is sin of we'll find it to be 1, so that we shall have 2. If you factored out, we shall have it as sin of x is a half, because you find it as a half, because this is a negative, this is plus 3 over 4. Now we have 3, if we talk of the addition, it is 3 plus negative 1 plus 3 is 2. 2 over 4 is negative half. If we deal with the subtraction, it would be minus 1 minus 3, it's negative 4. Negative 4 over 4 is negative 1. So we shall have sin x as a half, or sin x as negative half, as negative 1. So when sin is a half, so the sin inverse x becomes 30, or x becomes negative 90. Now we deal with 30 degrees. When it acts, we deal with the 30 degrees. So we look for where sin is positive is here. Already that is 30 degrees right there. and it's also positive here. So if it is here, we deal with the 30 from the x. So we need this angle here, which is this 180 minus this 30 gives you this angle here, which is 150 degrees. So those are the two angles. Because if you go to the second time, it would be more than the limits you are given. So you come and deal with it when it's negative 90. Where it is negative, sign is here and here. Even if you deal with here, you get the angle, because 90 from the x, you add 180 plus 90 gives you 270. Even 360 minus 90 gives you 270. And 270 is above the limit, so it's not within the limit. And therefore the angle becomes this negative 90, 30 degrees, and 150. Those are the three angles you are supposed to find. Question number 13. The point P, Q, and R lie on a straight line. The position vector of P and R are 2i plus 3j plus 13k and 5i minus 3j plus 4k respectively. Q divides PR in the ratio of 3:2. 3:. So we have P and Q. So the ratio of 3, the whole thing is 3, from P to Q is 3 to -2, meaning from here to here is 2. So it's the same as 1:2. 1:2, because the whole line is 3. So the ratio internally is PR to RQ, it is 1:2. 1:2 internally. So what we do, if I reverse it into internally so that I'm able to do it out, so I can easily find, I can easily say that PQ, to get my P to Q, first of all, I can get, I'm asking to find PQ is a third, PR is a third, because this is 1/3 PQ. So I can easily find my PR is R minus P, R minus P, you get your PR. So after finding PR, and I know that this is my PR equals 2, we get my PQ is Q minus P, and Q is all this minus P is this. So PR, you subtracted equals to that. There was a third, so because we equalize, they are equal, so there is a third, we multiply by 3 or 2, so that we remove the 3 there. So if you multiply by 3, you get that is when you multiply by 3, you get all of this, so that from there you equalize these equations. This is 9 or that, you equalize the equations, you say that x minus 2 equals to 9, because you get it as 9, -18 and -27, so that you equalize, you say that x minus 2 equals to 9, and y minus 3 equals to y minus 3 equals to -18. From there you find the values of x, y, and z. X you will find 11, y -15, and z -14. So we shall have 11i as the position vector of Q. It is 11i minus 15j minus 27k minus 14k. So that is the position vectors of Q. Then modulus of QP, it is P minus Q. P minus Q. Distance of distance of Q from P, so it is distance of Q from P, it is now QP, PQ, which is now Q minus P. You subtract the 2 to get the vector first of all, then you find the modulus. The modulus will be 33.6749 units. 33.64 units. Then we continue. Question number 14. The diagram below shows a circle center O. AB is a secant to the circle, and CT is a tangent to the circle at T. Now, in this case, remember we say that A to C, C is the meeting point, times C to B equal to C times T squared. C times T squared. So from there, we say that the whole line you are told is 9. So it is 9, AC is 9 times BC gives you CT squared. So BC is 4. If you find your BC to be 4, meaning that we can find A, B to be 9 minus 4, which is 5. And therefore the diameter is 5 divided by 2, which gives you 2.5 centimeter. You make n the subject of the formula. We have E equals to n minus x or of n minus 1 power of a half. Power half is the same as square root of this. So to remove the square root, we square everything, so the square root shall end, and therefore if we square, we shall have e squared now into n minus x or over n minus x or over n minus 1. So we cross multiply and find this e squared into n minus 1. E squared into n minus 1 becomes e squared n minus e squared equals to n minus x. We put the terms that has an n together, so we shall have e squared n minus n equals to, if we take this becomes positive, equals to e squared minus x. So from here we factor out, we shall have n into e squared minus 1 equals to e squared minus x. So we divide by e squared minus 1, so that this cancels out, and we remain with n equals to e squared minus x or e squared minus 1. Now question number 16, that is the end of, if we discuss question 16, it would be the end of this section A. The age distribution of 9 workers in a factory were all these determine the same interquartile range of the data. So what you do, you first of all arrange this data in ascending order from the smallest to the highest. So we start with 28, 30, 32, 32, 33, 33, 34, 35, 37. And then to get position, that is Q1, it is a quarter of n plus 1. And n, there are 9 of them. So it is a quarter of 9 plus 1, which is 10 over 4. So 10 over 4, we get it is 2.5 position. So 2.5 position, it is 1, 2, it is at the middle. So we add the 2 and divide by 2 to get the lower quartile. So the lower quartile is 30 plus that, 2 plus 30 divided by 2, which is 31. And the upper quartile is 10. Remember, is 3/4. 3/4 of 10. So 10 times 3 divided by 4, 7.5. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0.5 is at the middle. So we add the 2, we divide by 2. So it gives you 34.5 as the upper quartile, Q3. And the Q1 we have said is 31. So now semi-interquartile range, we subtract the 2, we divide by 2. Upper limit, upper quartile minus lower quartile divided by 2. Q3 minus Q1 over 2, that is 34.5 minus 31 over 2, which gives you 1.75. Now, thank you for listening to this. We continue with question. We continue